Hey folks, this is just after I finished my live stream at PMQs earlier this afternoon. Doris, aka Boris Johnson, has dropped all plague restrictions. So even the masks are gone. Now, we were talking about this on this morning's live stream, and it was looking like most restrictions were going to end. But I think this morning the pressure has ramped up. At least 20 have come out now, MPs, and publicly called for his resignation. To David Davis, one of his staunch supporters, has come out and asked for him to go. We're going to watch that video in a moment. But for now, let's read on. The masks are going. So here we go. The government will no longer require and mandate the wearing of face masks as restrictions come to an end. Now, this is the middle of winter. If they were ending in summer like last year, I'd be like, autumn, they're going to come back. I don't think they will. They are ending them in the middle of January, in the middle of winter, basically. When usually January is our coldest month in the UK. It's when the hospital admissions are at the highest, and they're ending it now. So this is really, really positive news. And for those of you who have been with me all through this for the past 2 years, I have tried to remain positive. There's been times when people have been very, very downbeat, and I could have gone that way. And people said to me, we come to your channel because even when things are shit, you always try and keep a positive note. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I will always try and keep positive, and this is good news. We can't deny that this is good news. So Doris has ditched the use of face masks from next Thursday. Okay, so next Thursday. And the legal requirement on people with the plague to self-isolate will be allowed to lapse when the regulations expire on the 24th of March. And that date could be brought forward. Speaking during PMQs, the PM has confirmed that Plan B measures to control the spread of the plague will be allowed to expire. So remember, they were renewing it every single 6 months, and they were debating it every 3 months. So this morning, the Cabinet concluded that we can return to Plan A in England. As a result, from next week, mandatory certification will end. Once regulations lapse, the government will no longer mandate the wearing of face masks. Plague levels have fallen in all regions of England except the northeast, which is where I am, and the southwest, where the trend is uncertain, the ONS, the Office for National Statistics, has said. In northeast England, around 1 in 10 people was likely to test positive. It's the cold. We've got a very cold breeze up here coming off the coast. And the southwest England, the lowest rate. So there he was with his Crettings next to him. Green's my favourite colour, but on you, especially that shade of green, it's like a horrible green. That anyway, sorry. The restrictions to end. Okay, so now this is Sir David Davis. This is a really interesting video, so I'm going to grab that for you because this is heavy stuff. And again, I'm going to reiterate this again. You have got the Tory backbenchers to thank for this. Yeah, the protests and everything else, well, the car boot sales have been fantastic. I'm not saying they're not. But Doris is a full-blown egomaniac. He's a narcissist. He's a sociopath. And he doesn't listen to the public. We know that. He just ignores it and puts his finger in his ears. But when he is losing his job, which is what he's all he's ever wanted. It's what it's why he hung around David Cameron like a fly around shit, because he wanted to be the PM. He was Mayor of London, remember? He did that. But he just wanted to be PM. So his ego is too big now. So because he knows that his people have had enough, he's had to do this. My only concern, and I did touch upon this earlier, is if he goes, there's a good chance we are going to have an early general election. Just like when Treasonous May went, we ended up with an early general election. So for the globalists to continue their insane agenda in this country, they need Labour in. They need a Liberal Party. So The only thing now that could completely destroy this is if he goes, we end up with a general election, Keir Starmer, who is currently ahead, I don't know how, in the polls, gets in. With him in, the Labour backbenchers are weak. So if he starts pissing them off, there's no 1922 committee to come to the rescue. Labour don't have that. It all changed under Jeremy Corbyn. They never had that, but now it's even worse. Anyone can become a member of the Labour Party for a couple of quid and has a say in the whole thing. So if there's a general election now, this will not end well for us. So right now at this moment in time, we are actually better keeping Boris in power, with his backbenchers keeping him in check. That is what I believe right now. I'm not a fan of him, but that's what we need right now, because he has backed down to his backbenchers. He's terrified of losing his job. Let's keep him terrified. Let's not give Keir Starmer the chance to take over. And if that happens, there's going to be no Tory backbenchers to push him out. The Labour lot will let him do whatever he wants. So before we go, let's see David Davis and what he says to Boris. Okay, so this was just like literally half an hour ago. To David Davis, who was part of Theresa May's cabinet and is now a backbencher. Here we go. Let's turn the volume up a little bit, and over to you, Sir David Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like many on these benches, I spent weeks and months defending the Prime Minister against often angry constituents. I reminded them of his success in delivering Brexit and on the vaccine and many other things. But I expect my leaders to shoulder the responsibility for the actions they take. Yesterday, he did the opposite of that. So I'll remind him of a quotation altogether too familiar to him of Leo Amery to Neville Chamberlain. You have sat there too long for all the good you have done. In the name of God, go.
That is massive. He spent weeks defending him from angry constituents, including by reminding them of the successes of Brexit. He's told him to go. So he had no choice than to completely annihilate the restrictions from the plague. So this is a good day. It's a victory, in my opinion. Again, we don't stop. We don't become complacent. We know that we have to keep on fighting this through any means necessary. We'll keep putting the news out there as best we can. We're still on YouTube, touch wood. We're still going. And hopefully we'll be able to stay. But I am looking into alternatives. And thank you again to Chris Collin for getting me on Getter, and for Sid on the Net for supporting me in finding an alternative streaming platform. But for now, we're still on PooTube. So what do you think? Are you in Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland? What do you think about this? Scotland are apparently ending theirs next week, but we'll believe that when we see it, Jimmy Cranky. What about Wales? What about Northern Ireland? Where else could you be in the world? What is happening near you? Will the rest of the world follow England? We made democracy. It's born with us. Is it returning? It's returning, but only because Boris doesn't want to lose his job. So from me, I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.